Hello students, this is Noli, your teacher in computer education 2. Before we start our video lesson, here are 4 reminders that you should bear in mind. First, participate in our discussion. You can do this by interacting in the comment section. Second, you have to prepare your module together with a pen and paper because we will be using that later on in our discussion. Third, you have to finish this video lesson so that you can be more skillful in using Adobe Photoshop. And fourth, if you have any questions, feel free to use the comment section. You can also send me a personal message. We will be answering those questions before we start our next lesson. At the end of this video lesson, you shall be able to 1. Describe the correct procedure on how to crop an image. 2. Apply the correct procedure in adjusting total range, removing color cast, replacing colors in an image, and adjusting the saturation and lightness. And 3. Describe the removal of a part of an image. Before we start our lesson, let us have a quick review of the things that you have learned from the previous module. In the last module, you have explored the interface of Adobe Photoshop. You have learned how to create and open a file. You have also learned basic navigating skills, such as zooming in and out of the document window and panning for a close inspection of the different areas of an image. Moreover, you have also learned how to add and format objects, such as text and shapes. In addition, you have learned how to move and transform these objects. Layers are also introduced, and finally, you learned how to save your project. By using this knowledge, you are able to highlight your philosophy inside your own photo. Did you know that you can already create beneficial digital products in Adobe Photoshop, such as this poster that aims to spread self-awareness? For your first activity, open your module and answer Activity 1. You may pause and continue the video after you have accomplished the activity. If you are now done with Activity 1, let's play a game. The title of our game is Spot the Difference 2.0. In this game, you need to spot the differences between two photos. The first photo is the original or raw photo, and the second photo is the photo edited in Photoshop. You can write your answers or observations in your paper. You will be given 15 seconds to analyze each pair of photo. So if you are now ready, let's start. The game that you have just played introduces you to what you are going to learn today. Without further ado, let's now move on to the hands-on session. To follow through the discussion, download first the practice photos in this link. So let's now start our hands-on session. First, cropping an image. Cropping is probably the most basic photo manipulation process. It has two main purposes. One is to emphasize a part of an image. The other one is to remove unwanted parts of an image. Cropping in Adobe Photoshop, like in any other photo editing applications, is an easy process. So here is the process of cropping in Adobe Photoshop. The first step, of course, is to open a file. You can do this by clicking the File menu, or you can also use the shortcut key Ctrl-O in Windows. Go to the Practice folder and click crop.jpg. The next step is to click the Crop tool located in the Tools panel. You may also press letter C in your keyboard. After that, broken lines should appear around the photo. This means that a photo is ready to be cropped. Begin cropping by dragging the sides of the photo like this. To apply the changes that you have made in the photo, click the check icon located in the options bar. In the next part, I'll be teaching you how to adjust tonal range. The tonal range of an image refers to the amount of contrast or detail in the image. Every image will have a range of pixels from the lightest pixels, which are white, to the darkest pixels, which are black. You can improve an image quickly by adjusting its tonal range. Notice, in our example image, that the forest is too dark. What if we want to make that image appear brighter? So we can do that by adjusting the tonal range. Here's the process on how to adjust tonal range. First, you need to open a file and go to our practice folder and select levels.jpg. You can observe that our photo is too dark. What can we do to make the photo appear brighter? So we can do this by using the levels control. To access it, go to the image menu in the menu bar, then select Adjustments, followed by Levels. You can also use the shortcut key Ctrl-L in Windows or Command-L in Mac. After selecting Levels, this window should appear. By using this window, you can adjust the highlights, midtones, and shadows of a photo. There are two methods that you can do. First is to manually type the amount of each property, or you can also use the bracket of each property. So in this video, we will be using the brackets of the properties. Earlier, we mentioned that we want this photo to appear brighter. To do that, we will decrease the amount of shadows. So as you can see, as I am decreasing the shadows, the photo became brighter. You may want to apply midtones and highlights. Removing color cast. A color cast is a tint of a particular color, usually unwanted, that evenly affects a photographic image in whole or in part. This can be caused by reflected light from a nearby object. For example, this image has a blue or cool color cast. This made the image quite unnatural to look at. So to make the image look more natural, I'll be teaching you how to remove the color cast. Here is a simple process of removing a color cast. First, open colorcast.png in our practice folder. The next step is to create an adjustment layer. We can do this by selecting the layer menu, the menu bar, select new adjustment layer, then choose levels. After that, this window should appear. Enter an appropriate name of the layer when necessary, but in this video, we will be using the default. After setting the name of the layer, this window should appear. To begin removing the color cast, select the gray color picker. To begin removing the color cast, click any part of the image that is gray. Observe that the blue color cast is now neutralized, making the image look more natural. Replacing colors in an image. In this image, you can see a pink rose. What if we want to transform that pink rose into a blue rose? Is this possible in Adobe Photoshop? The answer is yes. One of the excellent features of Photoshop is its ability to change colors on a specific part of an image. See, to do that, I'll be teaching you how to replace colors in an image. Here is a simple process on how to replace the colors in an image. What we're going to do is to change this pink rose into a blue rose. You can access this photo from our practice folder with a file name color.jpg. To replace the color, we will use the color replacement tool under the brush tool located in the tools panel. After selecting the tool, we let Photoshop identify the color we want to replace. So we will select the Set Foreground Color at the bottom of the Tools panel. Now, click on the color we want to replace, and that is the pink color of the rose. After selecting the pink color, or the foreground color, we will now set the new color using the brackets in this window. So using this window, we will choose the blue color. Then we click OK. Before we move on, make sure that this button in the options bar is selected. We can start replacing the foreground color, which is pink, by brushing through the parts of the image. As you can see, the color is immediately replaced after brushing through the surface. If the size of the brush is too big or too small, you can use the options bar. Adjusting hue, saturation, and lightness. The color replacement tool that we have used in the previous section is only one of the several tools that can be used to change color. Another way to change or modify colors in an image is through the hue and saturation command. Hue refers to the specific tone of color. Hue is slightly different from color because color can have varying saturation and brightness as well as hue. Saturation refers to the intensity of hue from gray tone to pure vivid color, while lightness is the level of lightness or darkness of a particular color. Here is how we can adjust the hue, saturation, and lightness. First, open the hue.jpg file in our practice folder. Then again, we will create a new adjustment layer through the layer menu. But this time, instead of levels, select hue and saturation. Again, we will be using the default player name in this video. So we can now adjust the hue, saturation, and lightness of the photo. We can do this by dragging the brackets in this window. Notice that as we increase the saturation, the colors becomes more vivid. You can also experiment on using the hue and lightness. Removal of a part of an image. This feature of Photoshop is one of its advanced editing capabilities. What it does is basically removing an object inside the photo. Recall in your game earlier that you have probably observed that there are two cats in the original picture of the last pair. But after the editing, the cat in the background is completely removed. Would you believe that the process of removing the cat in the background only took less than a minute? I'll be teaching you a quick method on how to remove a part of an image. Here is a simple process of removing a part of an image. We first open the file, remove that PNG in our practice folder. As you can see, there are two cats in the photo. We will try to remove the cat in the background. We do this by first selecting the cat using the lasso tool in the tools panel. You can also use the shortcut key L in your keyboard. Using the lasso tool, we draw a line around the image or part of an image we want to remove. In doing this, we should make sure to include some parts of the background. After selecting the object, click the Edit menu in the menu bar. Then select Fill. You can also use the shortcut key Shift F5 in Windows or Shift Command R in Mac. Then the Fill window should appear. In this window, make sure that you have selected the Content Aware. This feature works by analyzing a photo and filling in a selected area with a similar texture and color to the rest of the image. To apply this feature, click OK. As you can see, the cat in the background is now removed. However, the selection made by the lasso tool is still there. To disable it, use the Select menu in the menu bar, then choose the Select. You can also use the shortcut key Ctrl D in Windows or Command D in Mac. That's all for today. See you in our next video lesson. Keep safe.